Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Holy cow! Cubs win! Cubs win! And one of the greatest emails I had sent to me last night in a text that said, Cubs win! Cubs win! And hell just froze over. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America on this Thursday morning. Cubs win! I never thought I'd see it! Oh, my goodness sakes. Good morning. Zeb at the Ranch. And I'm, of course, Zeb Bell. Boy, am I a happy fat Zeb Bell this morning. And our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Right now, without further ado, let's get our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, there you are, Kilt Man. Cubs win, Cubs win. I'm a happy camper this morning.
Congratulations, my friend. Don't forget to go out and vote.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, buddy. God bless you and drive safe. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Good guy right there. Cubs win. You're going to hear a lot of that today. I have not had a chance to say that in my entire life. I love it. Hey, don't forget it's time for the weather. Oh, I got to settle down a little bit. Why? I'm having fun. Weather brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Really, really good, folks, and look for that blue door. They've got all your carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home. And all kinds of great tile at very economical prices. Cheney Flooring and Home Design. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for this beautiful Thursday, November 3rd, and we are looking at great weather as we move on closer to the weekend. High-pressure system's going to be sticking around for a while. Looks like sunny skies for today. We are expecting a high of 60, tonight low of 32. Now tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 62 with an overnight low of 32. Sunny and 60 for Saturday. Some clouds rolling in on Sunday, high of 58, and then back to mostly sunny skies and 60 for Monday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you. Brought to you by our dear friends, and they are Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Great folks. 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Right now, let's sell some cattle. Merv May, get on in here, would you please?
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there, here to get all 31, 31 going out.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, along with Cade Rogge and Lance Udy over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sale today at 10 a.m. this morning, the sale that works for you at 1100 Occidental Avenue. And the number to call for cattle consignment and sale information, 678-9411. Here's a partial list of some of the great cattle going through the ring today. Bill Kimber over at Grouse Creek, Utah. Hello, Bill. Bringing in a semi-load of ripping good calves, along with Brackett Ranches out at Three Creek, bringing in a semi-load of cows. Fabre Ranches down at Jigs, Nevada. Man, I've been there many, many times. 100 head of calves coming in from the Fabre Ranches, and then butchered cows from Acme Dairy, TLK Dairy, Oak Valley Dairy. Hey, you'd better be there at 10 o'clock this morning, sale time at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv, let's sell some steers.
All right, a good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, 1.5, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom again.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Hey, by the way, don't forget, Big Green says thank you. Put Wednesday, November 9th on your calendar to attend the Customer Appreciation and Open House at Stotts Equipment John Deere at 119 Overland and Burley. Food fund prizes at Stotts Equipment, your John Deere dealer, saying thank you, and let's farm together in the future. Remember, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Open house at Stotts Equipment, 119 Overland in Burley. Go Green. What a day. What a day. I'm telling you, I didn't get much sleep last night. No, I did not get much sleep last night, but I feel energized. Holy cow, as old Harry Carey with the big bottle-rimmed glasses used to say. Cubs win. Cubs, I couldn't believe it. For this, you got to bear with me a little bit. I have been a Cubs fan since I was a little bitty boy. And I never thought I would see them win the World Series. Never! And a couple of years ago, losing 101 out of 162 games. I mean, they were at the doormat and were the doormat of the entire league. They are this morning world champion. What a game! I mean, 10 innings of really hard-fought, good, solid baseball. It was exciting, and I got a lot more to talk about that in just a minute. Don't forget, vote yes on HJR5. Coming up next Tuesday, your voice needs to be heard, and you should always be able to hold our state government accountable. Vote yes on HJR5. It encourages better communication and cooperation within our branches of state government. Vote yes on HJR5. Paid for by Speaker Scott Bedke, Representative Fred Wood, and Senator Kelly Anthon. Also want to remind you about Jack Johnson running for Twin Falls County Commissioner, District 3, a man that will be very responsive to all of our needs and wants to maintain a balanced approach to economic and agricultural needs and work to enhance mental health assistance to our veterans returning home. Don't forget to vote for Jack Johnson, Twin Falls County Commissioner, District 3, paid for by the Jack Johnson for Commission, Darren Kyle, Treasurer. And while we have just a minute also, I'd like to remind everybody about Steve Hartkin. Yes, Steve Hartkin is running for state representative, re-election, District 24B. Steve, of course, a very, very strong Republican incumbent, and he wants your vote next Tuesday. Go to the polls November 8th. Don't forget that. Strong supporter of our Second Amendment and our right to bear arms, and for parent and schools, supports right to life, and he knows our water rights here in the state of Idaho. Vote for Steve Hartkin on November 8th. Don't forget, it's paid for by Steve Hartkin Campaign Committee. Wow, what a night. 108 years ago, they were the world's champions. Excuse me. And now the curse of the GOAT is dead. Dear friends, last night, now I got to tell you that last night, Idaho Power chose, in this respective area, to turn off the power from 8 to 9:30. And I'm not condemning them. They had a maintenance program, but on Wednesday night and during prime time and during the final 7 game of the World Series, yes, I was blessed to have dear friends. Larry and Nancy Hudig took in 2 homeless people last night that were without power, without electricity, and they let them go into their basement and observe the World Series Game 7. God bless them. It was really a great, great game. And it was kind of funny last night. There was a little bit of a rain delay, after the ninth inning, and I looked at my lovely bride and I said, maybe if we hurry home, we can not miss very much of the game. And it was ironic. We walked in the back door, turned on, fortunately, the TV, and the power was on at that juncture, and there it was. We never missed a pitch, so it was great. Thank you very much. Wheels, did we get a hold of anybody yet this morning?
Nope, but I am getting a hold of them.
All right, buddy, thanks. I'll do a commercial break. Let me know. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They've got all your furnace filters to keep Mr. Heat in the basement working efficiently for you. That's right. We've got cold air coming, folks. So don't forget, stop in 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Also, you know that once a month we go over to Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, and we have Zeb's Lunch Bunch. And I'm telling you, whether you like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they have got some phenomenal, great breakfasts over there with the pumpkin cream pancake breakfast and the red velvet pancake puppies, white chocolate chips, and cream cheese on the side for dipping. Oh, they're delicious. You got to stop in and check out all the menu choices at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. It is really, really good eating. Let's see if we've got anybody on the phone waiting for us. Wheels, what did you find? He's still on the phone.
Pastor Settlemyer on the phone.
Oh, yes, I've got to get this man on the phone because there is probably one more man in the world that is a bigger Cub fan than I am. And he texted me a picture of him wearing a 1984 Cubs t-shirt last night. And I'll just preface the phone call by saying, Cubs win, Cubs win. Holy cow, Pastor Settlemyer, how are you?
Zeb, I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I danced around the maypole about 75 times last night. I thought never in my life would I see this.
Oh, I know. Me too. Joyce and I were jumping up and down when the Cubs won last night. So.
Well, now, are you home or are you down in Arizona? Where in the world are you?
No, I'm home.
Okay, so there you go. What was your initial reaction when the game went 10 innings? And you got to hand it to the Indians. They absolutely played phenomenal, tough baseball.
You know, when they hit that home run in the bottom of the 8th inning, I remembered Steve Garvey running between first and second after he hit the home run in 1984 in Game 5 to beat the Cubs.
There's
I had a horrible flashback, Zeb.
Well, now you can sit down and write your sermon for Sunday, and please don't try to be prejudiced, but you might try to work in that the Cubs have won for the first time in 108 years and work something up.
I'm sure I'll get that in.
Well, you have a tendency to bring it in on many occasions, but I just wanted to call and salute you as a real, true blue Cubs fan, and God bless you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, Zeb, and God bless you, and Cubs win. Cubs win.
Okay, buddy, take care. Thank you. Oh, he is a Cubs fan, let me tell you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Jim Patrick, good man, running again for re-election for State Senator, District 25. And he wants to thank everybody that supported him in the past, and he urges you to get out to the polls next Tuesday and vote yes on HJR 5. Don't forget, this man wants to continue serving the state of Idaho. Jim Patrick, State Senator, District 25, paid for by Jim Patrick for Senate, District 25. And my old buddy, emphasis on the word old, Charlie Howell, Jerome County Commissioner, District 2, wants your vote for another term as Jerome County Commissioner in District 2. A man that really listens to every side of the discussion and weighs all the checks and balances. He has really done a good job for Jerome County and wants to continue doing so. Charlie Howell, Jerome County Commissioner, District 2, paid for by the committee to elect Charlie Howell. Brenda Haddam, treasurer. How about that other call? Have we got that one ready to go?
No, but I will get that one going.
All right, buddy, thanks. Let me know. Thank you very much. We've got a full plate here today. We've got a lot of things coming up with the Chamber Report and Dog Nation. Rita Ramsey is going to comment the ever-changing face of politics and what's going on in the sleaziest, absolutely filthiest, dirtiest campaigns we've ever seen for a presidential election. And it's going to get worse in the next couple of days, believe it or not. And some of the things that have been said by the Clinton campaign against Comey and the FBI, and I just heard not moments ago before I signed on the air, Martin all of a sudden his name left me, but I won't exacerbate that. I'll just go ahead and say many Democrats have called the FBI investigation a cheap shot. Of all the illegalities and the things that she and her family and the Clinton Foundation have done that are not legal, and the money that came in and how it was dispersed, etc., not legal. The emails on a private secret server, not legal. And the Democrats have the audacity to say that this is a cheap shot? Are you kidding me? Callers, come on, give me a jingle, and Wheels, let me know if you get that other one on the line. Please don't forget, I got a pesky fly here again this morning. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. I'm going to be in the pool this afternoon. Yeah, Moby Dick is going to be in the pool. And the number to call for an appointment to have them help you. Great physical therapist with all the exercises, hydrotherapy pool. It's fantastic. 678-1191. 678-1191 at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. They are helping you get back to being you. Call today for an appointment. 678-1191 Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. Don't forget to Barry Equipment and Rental with all the equipment you need to get the job done right. South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Do you know that they're offering right now 0% interest on 48 months if you buy any used rental Bobcat equipment? Holy cow, 0% interest. You better get in there today. Great folks, great service, Barry Equipment and Rental. They have the equipment to get the job done right. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, along with locations in Jerome and Twin Falls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, you cubby lover.
I am, and proud of it.
Hey, I got a question for everybody out there.
Uh-oh.
Has anybody seen Bert Stevenson?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we are attempting to get him on the phone right now.
Well, that's wonderful, because he's the greatest guy in the world, but he's a real good sport, too.
He is, but I wanted to be sure and offer our former representative, Bert Stevenson, a complete 7-course meal of crow.
Oh, you be preparing it yourself?
Yes, cooked by the Chef Boyardee, me, over here at the ranch in Murtaugh.
Yeah, I'd just like to just say one thing about baseball in general. Is it just disgusting to see how the players and their coach spit? Like that one coach from Cleveland was doing sunflower seeds and spitting all over
Keith, I'm going to correct you on this only because we have a difference of opinion. I played the game. And I know how nervous and nerve-wracking it could be. And I know that they've got away from the tobacco. They're going to the sunflower seeds. They're going to double-bubble chewing gum, cramming 79 pieces in their mouth. Hey, I don't care if they're spitting or not. Under those circumstances, playing for that kind of money, let them spit.
Well, I didn't see the Cubs doing that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Bubble gum and blowing bubbles and they acted like they were enjoying it.
No, I tell you what, there were a lot of them that had the old sunflower seeds. As a matter of fact, Javier Baez, he'd go out to play infield as second base, and he had a whole pocket full of them. And if you watched real close, he kept popping them in his mouth. So you get nervous, and it happens.
To win, I guess that's what they should do.
All right, Keith. God bless you, man. Thank you for the call. Thank you.
There is one other thing I wanted to mention, that now the Justice Department is becoming a lot more corrupt.
Yeah, and what's your point? I got to agree with you. Absolutely. What can I do to say?
It goes further to the top, and
Yeah.
that goes right to Obama. You know, he's trying to stifle this thing, and it's just not working, and he's going to ruin his legacy.
Oh, there's no question about it. There's no question about what you said is true. I mean, there's been many reports about the DOJ trying to come in and tell the FBI the Clinton Foundation investigation should stand down, and those are words not mine, but those are the words they used. I'll be talking a lot more about that in a few moments. Keith, God bless. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right. Wheels, did we get Representative Bert Stevenson on the line?
I had left him a voicemail, and he had called me back while you were talking to Keith.
Get him back.
Okay.
Where is he?
This is the twist. Unfortunately, he has a meeting this morning, and he's in it. But he told me he will be calling you back to let you know how he likes his crow.
I love it. God bless him. Just let me know when he calls, my friend, would you please?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room. Yes, sirree, they are the best. When you have a hearing problem or think you have a hearing problem, why don't you call and make an appointment for a hearing screening? This lovely lady, Dr. Christine Pickup, boy, does she know sound. And does she know about hearing? I'm telling you, I'm very impressed. You be sure and give them a call, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Don't put it off. You call them and make an appointment today. Thank you. Oh, man. A wonderful evening. And again, my thanks to Larry and Nancy Hudig. These are wonderful people that we went over and watched the game and had a wonderful chili supper and all the trimmings. It was fantastic. Thank you very much. Secret server of Hillary's was hacked and classified information was taken. Now, the Democrats can say that it's a cheap shot for the FBI and James Comey in particular to bring this information out at this time. I want to ask you out in the audience a question. If the FBI had not said a word about more information garnered by their field agents in regards to the illegalities of what Hillary and her people had done, and they'd left it mum until after the election, what would your thoughts have been about the FBI, about corruption in our government, and how the bad guys seem to get the breaks? What would your thoughts have been? Or are you like me? Lay it on the table. I don't care if it's 15 minutes from when the polls open up. Tell the American public what kind of sleaze and absolute criminality is going on in our government. I think the FBI finally did the right thing. And Martin O'Malley and the rest of these crybaby, dim-witted Democrats saying that it was a cheap shot, no, it's not. It's putting the information out in a free society so that the public knows what's going on. Open, honest journalism. And an investigation that should not be coerced from either side by the FBI. You know, I don't have a lot of patience with people that try to hide things and lie about things. As a matter of fact, I don't have any patience at all. And these actions that Hillary... And here's something else to ponder, folks. You've heard me complain about this a long time. Hillary keeps saying that, well, it was a mistake. Well, that was a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. A mistake is absolutely adding 2 and 2 and coming up with 5 on a test paper. A choice is when you do something deliberately. Hillary made a choice to have a private server and run these emails that were classified through her and evidently through other people's devices. That is not a mistake. How dare these public officials or anybody? Well, that was a mistake. I guess that was a mistake. I'll do better. I won't let that happen again. No, it is a choice. And they should be held accountable and absolutely prosecuted for their actions. I want to hear what you have to say about that. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget, Roger Morley is running for Jerome County Commissioner, District 3, and this is a re-election for him. He's done a great job, and he wants to continue serving you. Roger has the experience needed to make a great county commissioner for you again. He knows what is best. Paid for by Morley for Commissioner, Lorraine Morley Treasurer. Roger Morley, Jerome County Commissioner, District 2. All right, callers, come on, give me a jingle. Hey, don't forget, Big Green says thank you. Put Wednesday, November 9th on your calendar to attend the Customer Appreciation and Open House at Stotts Equipment John Deere at 119 Overland and Burley. Food, fun, prizes at Stotts Equipment, your John Deere dealer, saying thank you, and let's farm together in the future. Remember, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. open house at Stotts Equipment, 119 Overland and Burley. Go green. All right, callers, come on, give me a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, come on, I'm the one that should be dead tired this morning. Staying up till after 11 o'clock last night and getting up at 4:30, but man, I feel like the Energizer Bunny. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump. You and your family, will enjoy the comfort. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric, along with Lennox, can save you money. Good morning. If you're a Cubs fan, you're welcome.
I am sort of a Cubs fan, but I want to say something about the FBI and what a wonderful organization they are. You know, what Hillary has done is turned or give them the opportunity for 5 countries to hack this email, and some of them are not our allies, and that in itself should be a very, very serious offense. You didn't go any further.
I agree. Yeah, I think, and I'm going to refer back to what I was saying just a few moments ago, the difference between a mistake and a choice. Hillary's choice absolutely put us in a very risky position of information, classified information, that was taken by our enemies. And it also did one other thing, and whether the Democrats like this or not, I couldn't care less. It put our American soldiers, men and women, at risk.
Yeah. I have a saying that I've heard from my father years ago, and it is, if you always tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said.
There you go. Keith, good way to wrap it up. I got another... I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't you dare go away, because then you can't pass go or get $200. Minicash Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. Oh, my goodness, Zach and the crew with all your metal roofing material and your shingles and your lumber packages and, of course, all your... Speaking about the windows, the Western windows, keep keep that cold air outside. And, of course, all the Tartar Fruman Ranch gates and panels, everything right there with my friends at Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. And they bring you on Tuesdays Dr. History. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just wanted to say congratulations on your Cubbies.
Well, I know that voice, and you perhaps are not a baseball fan, but that was really a nice thing for you to say, because I'm walking about 6 inches off the ground this morning. Man, I tell you, I am happy. It's been all my life waiting for this.
I'm sure. When I heard that last night, I thought, oh my gosh, she's on top of the world tonight.
Well, let's just say that I'm afraid that our bedroom furniture and everything else really took an abuse last night as I watched the end of that game laying in bed, and I'll tell you, I jumped up, floated around the room. I was ecstatic.
Well, that's just super.
All right, take care, Lorna, and God bless you for your call. Thank you so much.
Everybody needed something good and something happy on top of all this political stuff.
Amen for that. And again, I very much appreciate your thoughts this morning. Thank you so much. All righty. There is a nice lady right there, and I have the highest respect for her. You know, with all the negative going on in the world, and last night, I get a little emotional about this because a lot of you people say, well, that's just baseball. Well, you know what? It did lend a little respite away from the cesspool of politics and world events. And I got to tell you that I was very much rejuvenated with a better thought, if you will, about professional athletes. You know, a long time ago, somebody came up to me and they said, these pros, they don't care. It's not the emotion. It's not the love of the game. It's just the love of money. And that, to me, at that time, was one of the dumbest statements I ever heard in my life. Anybody that has pride in what they do, and I mean this, I don't care if you're a plumber, I don't care if you're a teacher, I don't care if you're a lawyer, I don't care if you're a doctor. If you have pride in what you do, you want to do the best job, and boy, when you do the best job, it makes you just feel good. And when I saw the tears flowing down the faces of these professional athletes, yes, they get paid enormous paychecks. But over and above that, I saw the pride. I saw the pride in a job well done. And the congratulatory remarks, and thanks to the fans that followed them through thick and thin. Man, with the tears. And everybody was crying. I was crying too. I thought never in my lifetime I'd see that. It was just a really great resting point from the rest of the sleaze that's going on in the world today. Cubs win. Cubs win. Holy cow. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, don't forget, Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Now, these are really good folks. I had a chance to visit with Dr. Bill Fulcher over at the Senior Junction Pumpkin Function last week. Nice man. And they've been in the practice for over 36 years. And along with all the folks over there, they've been voted at Ark Animal Hospital, Minnecastia's best veterinary hospital, numerous times. Don't forget, it's a mixed animal practice, meaning bigger, small, they love them all, and they have the warm hearts for the cold noses at Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. Really good folks. Oh, come on. At least you can call and tell me, wow, what a great game, Cubs win. I mean, this is a historic milestone. 108 years, and they finally won the World Series. Wow. You know, while I'm waiting for your calls that I hope are coming in, I absolutely was listening to Representative Mike McCall this morning from Texas, and he's also the head of the Homeland Security. And he said very forcefully, he didn't mince words. And he said what Hillary has done is treasonous to America. Those are strong, strong words. And I know the Democrats out there, they're, gnashing their teeth and tearing their hair and trying to figure out, shut up, Bell, don't say anymore. Well, I'm going to keep on saying it. I think Hillary Clinton is, with the information that has been provided, the information that I have in front of me over all the research and everything else, is a traitor to the United States of America. I have headlines. Bret Baier, Fox News, barring obstruction, indictment almost certain in FBI investigation. Citing sources at the FBI, the renewed investigation of Hillary Clinton's email server will almost certainly end in an indictment unless some sort of obstruction arises. Headline, GOP Congressman, Hillary Clinton could be impeached if she wins. All right, headline, report, Department of Justice told the FBI's Clinton Foundation investigators, stand down. How many more instances do you need to realize the criminality and, yes, the money laundering, if you will, and the illegalities of Hillary Clinton? Good morning, you're on the air.
Two quick things, Zeb. Yesterday, the 26-year operative at the CIA called in and said he knows for a fact that the CIA, the unrest in there, they're so sick of all this stuff going on that they've had it, and they are leaking information. The CIA has information that nobody knows about except for them. I don't know how all this plays out. But the CIA is leaking information to WikiLeaks to help bring about the downfall of Hillary. Because there's people in there that truly do want America to survive. And so, secondly, I happened to turn to a radio station yesterday, and there was a Mormon, and this is me saying this, okay? This is me saying this. If you don't want me to go on, I'm not going to.
Well, make your point, Randy. I'm in a big hurry, but go ahead fast.
I'm a maker, and this is how I feel. Somebody doesn't like it, but it's your show, and I don't have the right to do anything. There's nothing other than this. We have a Mormon talk show host interviewing an elected official who's LDS, and Gary Herbert, the governor of Utah, is LDS, and none of them are going to vote for Trump because he said a very, unsavory statement. And I say to myself, I wish I was that perfect. I wish I was so perfect that I could do such a thing. But, we have to forgive people. But with this attitude is in Utah, and they will somehow take away the electoral college votes from Trump because of this attitude. And they strap me with Hillary Clinton, my children, my grandchildren. Then I'm fed up. I'm LDS too. I'm a convert. I've been going for years. I love my LDS brethren. But this kind of attitude is killing us.
I appreciate it.
Like it. They know where I live, and I'm here.
Randy, I appreciate your viewpoint. You always are very explicit and very open about your feelings, and I do thank you very much for that. That's the whole thing. I don't care, and I mean this, if you're Methodist, Mormon, Lutheran, Catholic, it doesn't make any difference. I think the best statement that I made a couple of weeks ago is, ye who are without sin, go ahead, pick up the first rock and let it go. Well, I by no means, if I were to pick out of a book the different personalities and characteristics of a good political candidate to run as president, I wouldn't have picked either one of them, Trump or Hillary. But knowing the problems, knowing the illegalities, knowing the future indictments, and knowing the possible impeachment if she is elected, how can you go to the polls and elect a woman, Hillary Clinton, to take over the Oval Office as the president, and then a cascade of events will go to the Oval Office, separate her from her duties as president to try to get this country back on track, and it's going to turn into one great big debacle. Caller, I'm going to ask your indulgence. I got to get a weather forecast in here because I talk too much. And just bear with me 60 seconds. Weather brought to you by the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin Falls. And Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. All your flu shots are available there along with the care when you get hurt or sick or injured. They can help you. Don't forget, minor emergencies, major care. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for this beautiful Thursday, November 3rd, and we are looking at great weather as we move on closer to the weekend. High-pressure system's going to be sticking around for a while. Looks like sunny skies for today. We are expecting a high of 60, tonight low of 32. Now tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 62 with an overnight low of 32. Sunny and 60 for Saturday. Some clouds rolling in on Sunday, high of 58, and then back to mostly sunny skies and 60 for Monday. That is your weather for Zebeth Duran.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares. Kyle James and his great, efficient staff at Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. As I've told you, minor emergencies, major care. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Way to go, Cubbies.
I can't agree more. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I got a couple questions. I think that was one of the greatest World Series I've ever seen. And the news people never said anything about when you're down 3-1, the chances of winning is very, very slim. And to have a seventh game go into the 10th innings, extra innings, I can't remember ever seeing a World Series like that before.
You know, Doc, in its purest form, whether you are a baseball fan or not, looking at the statistics, 3-1, the chances of becoming the world's champions are slim and none. Somebody locked the closet door. And to come back and take it and win the world title, and then the game has to go 10 innings, you saw baseball, like I said, in its purest form with great managerial changes. Some were questionable, but it all worked out in the long run. It was a game I couldn't, as a baseball fan, ever imagine it could be that good.
Right, and I heard one guy say that the Cubs didn't win, that Cleveland lost because they walked those guys. Well, that's the thing with baseball. If you've ever studied baseball, there's so much strategy to it.
Yep.
And how many times can something that's only 30% of the time a success be considered successful? But if you have a hitter that hits 300, that's a good hitter.
Yeah, you know, and Doc, one thing that really irritates and agitates me to the point of anger is when some idiot that doesn't understand sports say, well, they didn't win, the other team just kind of gave it to them. Listen, the ball has to be hit. The catch has to be made. The pitches have to be good. All of that plays into the human ability and talent of playing a game that really is an art, if you look at it. And I get sick and tired of, they just gave it away. Nobody gave it away. That game was won last night, and God bless both teams. It was an amazing World Series.
What gets me, the way it started out with the 3 errors, I was beginning to wonder, how in the heck can you win a game when you have 3 errors?
Yeah, but Doc, I've played a lot of baseball, and
I have too.
I know, but when you think about it, and you know this is true, here it is, and they overheard a comment that was made by Anthony Rizzo in the Cubs dugout last night. He said, quote, "I'm an emotional wreck," and that was in the 3rd inning. You can't imagine the pressure that goes on when you're up for all the marbles in Game 7.
And look at the age of that team. That's one of the younger teams in the whole league.
Yep. 22, 23, 24, and they're going to be around for a long time, and I hope I get a chance to say it again next year. Cubs win! Cubs win! Holy cow.
Hey, one in 108 years, you better not try to get it next year, too.
All right, Doc. God bless you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you.
All right, take care. Oh, yeah, you know, it was just absolute. There were errors. But I'll guarantee you there's errors in every game. But the pressure The pressure of Game 7. And the TV ratings sky high. And you know something? This needs to be said. I didn't see anybody at any of the games in the World Series, any of the members of the teams, any of the players take a knee or sit down during the national anthem. What Colin Kaepernick did to pro football has resulted in a resounding wreck. And the TV ratings for NFL football are down. And yes, I blame a lot of it on Colin Kaepernick and this anti-national anthem attitude. You didn't see that at the World Series. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. My pride is busting, and I don't have a favorite baseball team. But I remember when I was a little kid and we would sit by that radio, we didn't have play-by-play on the TV, and we could just imagine what it was like, and then you had to wait till the next day to see the picture in the newspaper, Honestly, I didn't get to see it all, but I saw what I wanted to see, and I had no favorites, but I was glad the way it turned out. All of those players were winners.
And that's a very true statement, and I want to emphasize what you just said, Chris. The young ball players, and I call them young because, after all, they're in their 20s. I saw team members from both teams, and there was a lot of good sportsmanship out there. Did you notice that play at second base last night, if you saw the game, where Rizzo slid into second base, and the second baseman for the Indians reached down and helped him back up again? And it was one of those series where it just made you feel good.
Well, I didn't see it because I didn't see very much of the game, but I'll tell you what, I just love baseball because I can understand it from start to finish. And I am so thrilled for Chicago, too. Wow, I didn't know it was that many years.
Yeah, 108 years.
Congratulations, Jim.
Oh, thank you. I feel like this is like my own child that has gone and won the world championship. That's what I feel like. I love the Cubs and I love baseball. Thanks, Chris. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, yeah, it was a great night last night. And even Deanne. Now, I got to tell you a story about Deanne after I do this commercial. This is really interesting. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump. You and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call them at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Okay, picture this. My wife, another baseball game. Oh, another football game. Oh, another basketball. But here's the thing. Last night, while we're watching the game, some questions were asked, and Deanne was the first person to answer them. She knew the batting averages. She knew the batting order. She knew the positions where they were playing. She knew everything that was going on. I'm telling you, don't anybody ever think for 5 minutes that my lovely bride does not know sports. I'm proud of her, and she is a Cubs fan. And she's walking in to, I think, tell me something right now. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Quickly, go ahead.
Rev, I just wanted to mention there was some boys on the Cubs team that actually played or practiced with the Hawks in Boise.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that's been brought up or not, but I thought I might mention it.
Well, many, Earl, have gone through various farm systems around the Northwest, and I've got a list over on my other desk of some of the players that have not only participated in games here or with the Hawks or with the Northwest League or whatever in single, double, or AAA baseball, but I'm telling you, these are young kids with an enormous amount of talent on both teams, and I'll tell you, everybody can be proud of the Indians and the Cubs for their professionalism and their sportsmanship.
And you're absolutely right on that second base player that helped the Cub fella up from sliding into second. I noticed that and thought the same as you.
All right, Earl. God bless you, man. Appreciate your call. Always good to hear from you. Thank you.
Right.
All right, buddy. Hey, don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You know, even though the sun's shining, even though it's going to be a great day, they are prepared for the winter driving. They've got all your tire chains, and they can tell you how to get them on and get them off. They've got all your batteries. You better go in for a free battery check and check your battery. If you need a new one, they've got all of them. And you know they've got all your tires. All the snow tires, the ice tires with the tread, and all the tires that are going to get you safely from point A to point B and back again. Be sure and stop in and talk to the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. These people really, really care. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Nobody better. You're the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Right now, this good word for Senator Mike Crapo, and then Wheels will take us up to news at 9 o'clock. Oh, what a beautiful day outside it is. And you know why the sun is shining brighter? Because Cubs win! Cubs win! Holy cow. I love it. Oh, my goodness sakes, we got a lot of things going on. Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. I'm telling you what, locally owned and operated, great people that really care. Check on the dumpsters. You know, I mean, if you're like we are, we're cleaning out a bunch of things and pitching and throwing, and we need those dumpsters. I'll tell you, they come in various sizes. Fill them up, and Western Waste will come get them. You better believe it, always at your disposal. You call them today, 734-6969, Western Waste Services. Don't forget to our dear friends at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. They've got everything. Whatever you need to make your house a home, all the carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, all of this and more. Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. Yep, look for that blue door. Thank you very much. And before I send it over to our caller, I want to remind you, too, that our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates, love that word, on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's gas furnaces, air conditioners, or heat pumps, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call them 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Well, good morning, Kyla, over at the Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. How are you doing? And congratulations on your Cubs. You got to be over the moon right now.
I crossed the moon's face 17 times last night. Thank you very much.
That is something when you watch your team finally get that big prize, isn't it? I'm excited for you right now.
Don't be so theatrical in saying finally. It's only been 108 years, lady. What's the matter with you?
Well, it is a big finally, don't you think?
I agree with you. What's going on at the Chamber of Commerce this morning?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think everybody got through Halloween on Monday, but we just want to remind everyone that the Haunted Mansions of Albion are continuing on through this weekend. I think Saturday is their final day, so if you haven't made it out there to Albion and checked it out there at the old college, it's something to check out for the final run of the year. And then we are getting ready at the Chamber for a very big week next week. On Thursday, the 10th, we are going to be unveiling a new video that we've made for the Chamber and our area to really show the community, you know, what we look like now. And we're really inviting everyone. If you are a chamber member, you're more than welcome to come. If you're not a chamber member, you are more than welcome to come. It will be at noon at the Burley Best Western Inn in the convention center that was newly renovated. So you just go around to the back there. If you're not a member and you would like to have lunch, it will be $12 at the door. And we're just real excited for everyone to come see this, come find out about what we're going to be doing for 2017. I have still not met everyone that I need to in this community, so I'm really hopeful that a lot of folks will show up so we can say hello.
Oh, that's nice. And you are such a pleasant person to be around. And by the way, I didn't thank you for taking the time and effort to come over to the Senior Junction last Thursday and be a part of our Halloween pumpkin function.
Can you do that again sometime? Because that was the happening place last week, for sure.
Well, we're going to do it again next year, and God bless all the people involved, and thank you for being there. With the weather like it is right now, Connor, are there any other activities that you want to highlight? It's beautiful out there.
It is beautiful out there, and, you know, honestly, on our calendar right now, it's pretty quiet, but then things start to really pop up again as we get into the holidays. So, you know, there's some wonderful things that are coming down the pipe, and I would really want to remind everyone this is the time of the year that a lot of the different service providers are really in need of donations, whether that be canned food. We'll have coats for kids. We have a lot of things coming down the pipe. So look around your house. Be kind of mindful when you're shopping that, you know, certainly as we get closer to Thanksgiving and then into Christmas, that there's going to be a lot of folks that will be, you know, just needing that extra push and little help.
All right. One thing, too, is that I think, now tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's about, 52 or 53 days till Christmas? Not much. And you have an amazing gift source over there with that gift shop that you have right there at the Chamber.
Yes, thanks, Deb, for saying that. Yes, we have some wonderful Made in Idaho products. We've got everything from candy to probably one of the most popular items are the Darth Vader T-shirts. If you haven't seen these, you need to come in. And we also have some wonderfully made, beautiful artwork and pottery that actually this woman has taken the leaves from the Arboretum here in Heyburn, and then she's put that imprint into the pottery. And it's some beautiful original artwork. A lot of people want it just for decoration in their home, but you can also microwave them, and you can also, you know, serve with them. So we'd invite you to come on down 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Check us out if you're looking for those hard-to-shop-for people. I'm sure we've got something here that they might like.
And if they have questions about the Chamber or becoming a Chamber member or they're in the area visiting, how can they get a hold of you folks?
Oh, stop on by our visitor center here. We're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And we're right here at the Riverview Park. So if you want to just check us out at 1177 7th Avenue in Heyburn, right there on the corner by the river. Or you can give us a call, 679-4793.
Kyla, God bless you. Thank you very much. And I want a big banner hung out on the door. Zeb's Cubs win. It's only been 108 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Deb, and you have a great day.
All right, thank you much. Nice lady right there. At the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, you stop in and see those good folks today, believe me. Talking about good people, I want to reiterate that Lee Hyder is running for re-election for State Senate District 24. I've had the occasion to work with this man many, many times, and the best always stand the test. Idaho Senator Lee Hyder, with his diligent perseverance to work for you and for me. So remember, next Tuesday, November 8th, vote for a man that's devoted to Idaho and serving you, and that's Lee Hyder for State Senate Seat District 24, paid for by Lee Hyder for Senate District 24. And another item that I want to mention, vote yes next Tuesday on HJR 5. Absolutely. It helps prevent state agencies from implementing overreaching and burdensome rules that negatively impact your life and leisure. Vote yes on HJR 5. Your voice needs to be heard, and you should always be able to hold our state government accountable. Vote yes on HJR 5. Paid for by Speaker Scott Bedke, Representative Fred Wood, and Senator Kelly Anthon. And last but not least, a big shout out to running for re-election, and that is Jim Patrick for Senate seat District 25. He wants to get your vote to be re-elected next Tuesday, November 8th, and he says thank you to everyone that supported him in the past. 40-year farmer, 20-year bank director, and on many, many different committees up at the State House. He absolutely wants you to vote yes on HJR 5 next Tuesday. And don't forget, Jim Patrick for State Senator, District 25, paid for by Jim Patrick for Senate, District 25. All right, give us a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I had so many phone calls and so many emails last night. I just kept some of them here this morning. I'm going to go look at and give you those. And most of them were very short and sweet and really nice. Long live the Cubbies. That one came from down in Nevada. Another one from North Dakota. Your Cubbies did it. Another one from Wisconsin. Hallelujah. The Cubbies are finally world's champions, and congratulations. From Indiana, go Cubbies, way to go, win the World Series, and then, they did. And here is one of my all-time favorites that I got last night. Hey, the Cubs won. Holy cow. And hell just froze over. I love those that I got last night. Thank you very, very much. Oh, my goodness sakes. Let's not forget to Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, always working with flexible hours to serve you and your family. That's right. And they can travel to all the rural towns and churches to help you with all the arrangements when there's a passing of a loved one. And remember this is really important. Always treating you and upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. They really do care. And they really can help. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Please remember the number, 436-5636. I got time for about one or two calls, so give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244. Don't forget, Big Green says thank you. Put Wednesday, November 9th on your calendar to attend the Customer Appreciation and Open House at Stotts Equipment John Deere at 119 Overland Avenue in Burley. Food, fun, prizes at Stotts Equipment, your John Deere dealer, saying thank you, and let's farm together in the future. Remember, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., open house at Stotts Equipment, 119 Overland and Burley, and go green. There you go. By the way, too, as I'm waiting for your calls, and I'm sure are coming in, evidently you're just having a slow dial this morning. Don't forget Scott Bedke, State Representative and Speaker of the House, District 27A, and he urges you to vote in this election next Tuesday, November 8th. It's a great honor to live in this country, and he urges you to use your patriotic duty and go vote. And vote yes on HJR 5. Paid for by Representative Scott Bedke, District 27A. There you go. One person that we haven't talked to too much this morning is our dear friend Wheels. I'm going to go over there and ask him if our dear friend Bert Stevenson, has called in. We'll check with him in just a moment. Don't forget, too, that Rick Martin is running for CSI Trustee Zone 2. Yep. A new voice for the CSI Board of Trustees. He wants your vote on next Tuesday. He's a graduate of the United States Air Force Police Academy, and he wants to work with all people to strive and make CSI more community and user-friendly. Don't forget to vote for Rick Martin for CSI Trustee District 2 next Tuesday, paid for by Rick Martin for CSI Trustee, Rick Martin Treasurer. There you go. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, have we heard from Bert Stevenson at all?
No, sir, I haven't gotten one phone call.
You know what? I'm really concerned because, honestly, I wanted to be sure and give Bert Stevenson a lot of opportunity to eat crow on the air for selecting the Cleveland Indians.
Well, when he had called back in to let me know that he was in his meeting, I believe he said that he liked it well done.
You believe he said he likes his crow well done. Did he want any other amenities with it, like maybe a casserole or maybe some fresh sourdough biscuits? Did he mention that?
I'm not entirely sure. That's just the little information that I know, that he wanted it well done.
Well, we will make preparation for a feast for him. Thank you, Wheels. I appreciate it. Don't forget, everybody, Kelly Anthon, running for State Senator, District 27, running unopposed. This man is a really good man as State Senator and has served the Mini-Cassia area for a long, long time. Pro-family, personal rights, and limited government. He has been a Burley City attorney and Rupert City attorney, and he wants you also to vote yes on HJR 5 next Tuesday. Don't forget, Kelly Anthon for State Senate, District 27, paid for by the co-chairs, Denton Darrington, Dean Cameron, with Elaine Stevenson, secretary. There you go. I wonder, let's take a shot in the dark here, and let's see if we have our dear friend, and that would be, of course, the Dog Man. Is Dog Nation ready? How about it? Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Holy mackerel. They're running all over the place on a beautiful Thursday, and here now is the number one canine expert in the world, Officer Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
Ecstatic.
I can understand that. You know, I have to say that Back to the Future was off by a year.
You know, you used to play a lot of baseball, and quite frankly, I used to be your coach. And
very true.
I never thought in our lifetime, mine especially, that we'd see them as world's champions. Oh my goodness, it's fantastic.
It is. It was about time, and wish I could go back in time now and put a little money on the Cubbies.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've known you for a long time, and everything you do first class. What is going on in the world of doggies?
Well, we don't have anybody to feature again this week. We've actually been able to find homes for all of our furry friends. Most all of them are leaving this weekend. We're just waiting on a couple other transports to be put together for two of the other dogs that we've got that we've had issues with, not being real dog friendly, but we've got a rescue that is looking at pulling them and getting them with trainers and trying to get them rehabilitated so they can go into good, loving homes. But we are still doing our Shoes for Dogs shoe drive. We're doing that up through Thanksgiving. All the money and stuff and that we're going to be raising on this is going to help us with getting our spay and neuter program going real well, our rescue efforts, our veterinary costs, and just being able to take real good care of these dogs. So if you got any slightly worn, used, or new shoes that you don't need no more, you can take them in Rupert to Valleywide Co-op, Rupert Animal Clinic, Ridley's, Rupert City Hall. Bring them to our facility, the Minidoka Direct Powers facility, Cruza Insurance, St. Nicholas Catholic School, the Minidoka Memorial Hospital. In Burley, they can be taken to Ace Hardware, D.L. Evans, there by Walmart, Cal Ranch, also IVF. In Hayburn, they can be taken to Ark Animal Hospital, Hayburn City Hall, Animal Medical Clinic, and a Wayside Cafe. In Paul, they can be taken to Swenson's Market. And then also in Gooding, Hagerman, and Shoshone, they can be taken to the Ace Hardware stores, those three locations as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, now listen, I believe that we're creeping ever so slowly towards some really cold changing weather, and you have done a great job in years past explaining that, hey, you can't just leave that puppy dog on a chain outside with no protection. Tell us a little bit more about that. It's actually against the law, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Our failure to provide adequate subsistence and shelter for an animal is considered animal cruelty, also known now as, and it falls under the animal torture law, which now carries a felony charge instead of a misdemeanor charge like it did before. So make sure you guys, and if you've got your dogs that are outside, make sure you've got a nice warm dog house. Those igloo dog houses work great. I mean, if you make one, Annette, out of wood or whatever, Make sure that you have it insulated. Make sure that the doorways are in positions that the wind doesn't blow directly into them when the wind's blowing. So just take extra precautions. Make sure they've still got plenty of food and water. This time of year, I advise a lot of people to start buying the heated water bowls so that their water's not freezing.
Yep.
And you can get them at most any of your Cal Ranch stores, your
kind of hit a bubble, didn't you?
Oh, well, yeah, it started buzzing in my ear. Or Valleywide Co-op stores, or any of the stores and stuff in that have a lot of your agricultural type needs, such as D&B Supply and Twin, places like that. So make sure you guys are taking good care of your furry friends this winter. It looks like it could possibly be a really cold one this year and lots of snow. So take them extra precautions, because we don't need them sitting out there and freezing. Especially your short-haired animals, like your Chihuahuas, your pit bulls, those that don't have a lot of hair, they tend to get colder a lot quicker. So make sure you're taking those extra precautions and take good care of them.
Let me ask you, do you find that there are seasons of the year where there are more dogs that are basically abandoned more so than other times of the year? Is the winter time the worst part or not?
It's more along the lines of the later part of the fall into the early winter, when the harvest seasons are getting over and people are turning around and leaving the state, headed for warmer weather, and taking their furry friend with them. They just wind up abandoning it, and instead of bringing it to the shelter. And we'd prefer that they go ahead and bring it to the shelter where it has a fighting chance of being able to be placed into a good, loving home.
How can, and I guess I'm kind of naive about this, but you've had a dog, and the dog has been loyal and faithful and friendly to you and your family, and I find it hard to understand how anybody can just up and leave the animal.
You know, it makes me wonder that same thing, because I could never do it. I'm one of them. I'm an avid animal lover, and if, for instance, if I can't take it or take my pet with me, I'm gonna find it a good home.
Yeah.
And if I can't find it a good home, I'm going to take it to the local animal shelter and give it the opportunity to be able to find a good home for it. But I'll do everything in my power to take that animal with me. For a matter of fact, I've got 2 dogs that I've had before my kids were born. One of them is a toy fox terrier. She is going on 11 years old. I've got a Chorgie, which she is going on 10 years old, and they're like my kids as well. I mean, I do everything I can for them. I mean, if they need any kind of medical attention, they're getting it just like my kids do.
Absolutely.
Loving food. I mean, a warm place to sleep. I mean, they've got their own beds in the house, and 9 times out of 10 they're sleeping with us or our kids. But they're family, and not just a pet. They're a family member.
Absolutely. And if people have questions about dogs or anything about what you do, how do they get a hold of you? Now, this is something I know you stood outside the studio and rehearsed for 10 minutes this morning.
Actually, I didn't have to rehearse it. I've been practicing it enough on the station that I've actually remembered. So you can reach our facility at 438-2200. You can reach me on my cell phone at 670-7268. Or Deb Hines with Haberns Animal Control at 670-4348.
You know, I've got a lot of respect for you, buddy. You do a great job, and thank you for all that you do with the dogs, and God bless you. And remember this, Cubs win.
Exactly. And God bless you, Deb.
All right, buddy, take care. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway, for Pete's sakes? They're all over the place. Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control. Good old friend. Known him for a long, long time. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Hey, let's see. Don't forget Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness sakes. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturdays 9 to 5. You know, now's the time. Yep, it's right. Nick said they've got a lot of snow machines coming in. Oh, my goodness. Snow is around the corner. They've got brand new snow machines coming coming into Let's Ride, you better get over and check them out. And also for us four-wheelers and side-by-siders, they're having great closeout prices on most of the 2016 models. Get in there today to Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Great accessory department, everything you need, along with a fantastic service department too. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Really good folks. By the way, over in that neck of the woods, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Zoop, right around the curve there. And they've got all your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, and they know and they can help you. Please call them for an appointment today at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance in Rupert, waiting to serve you. Well, we're going to have Rita on the phone with us in just a moment. Stand by. Can't wait to get some of her comments this week over all the absolute events that have happened in politics over the last couple of days. Want to remind you, too, about Clark Kaufman. Clark Kaufman is your District 25B state representative, and he encourages you to support and vote yes on HJR 5, an amendment to the Idaho Constitution to ensure the separations of powers of the executive and legislative branches. Don't forget, vote next Tuesday, November 8th for Clark Kaufman, District 25B, paid for by Re-elect Kaufman Committee, Debbie Kaufman, Treasurer. And without further ado, we're going to have to take a break again in a few minutes, but I want to say good morning to a lovely lady on a beautiful day, and I don't know if she's a baseball fan or not, but I'm just going to say, Cubs win, holy cow. Rita?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was glad that they won. However, if the others would have won, it would have been equally as exciting because it had been so long for either one. So it was kind of good to have some newcomers into the race for a while.
And it was a very fun-filled series. It was, and a lot of good sportsmanship, too.
Well, that's really good. I just hope that the people in Chicago don't burn down their city over it. You know how sometimes they can get a little out of hand in Chicago.
Or anywhere for that matter. Okay, here we are, just a matter of, if you want to look at it one way, a couple of days or a matter of hours away from the election. Wow, what turmoil, what tumultuous activities are going on. The Democrats are taking the FBI to task and saying, cheap shot, cheap shot. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's the only way that they can make it look like she's a victim here, hoping that people will feel sorry for her and say, oh, she's a victim, she's been victimized, they've been trying to make her out to be a crook, and she really isn't, so we should vote for her. The thing of it is, anybody who knows the Clintons from back when they made the national scene, and there's many that know them from Arkansas prior to that, will say, you know what, she's not a victim, this is a pathological liar, and they've been doing this ever since they became, probably from their college days, because remember, the Clintons actually went to Russia and were sympathizers with the Russians and that. And it's just a really sad thing, because if you look at the history, there's no doubt in what's happened here, and anybody else would have been in jail long before now.
Rita, there was something else said to me a couple of days ago in a conversation with a person that I'm not going to mention his name because I haven't had the permission to do so, but he's been involved in politics for well over maybe 3 or more decades. And we had a very nice conversation. He resides back in Washington, D.C., and his comment was, you know, one thing that isn't being discussed is with the Clinton Foundation, daughter Chelsea. And I said, well, what exactly do you mean? Well, Chelsea is, of course, involved with the Clinton Foundation as the vice chairman. And I wonder, Rita, with all these money matters and money laundering and illicit activities and pay for play, will Chelsea be also possibly indicted?
Well, actually, she should be. And the reason is because that whole foundation is a farce. And they're Hillary can say, well, we paid our fair share of taxes and everything, but you know what? All of that money, those hundreds of millions of dollars that went into that foundation, they don't claim as income, yet they use it as disposable income for everything and anything they can do. They use it for all of their trips. I imagine if you started digging back far enough, you would find out that they used it for all of their personal needs as well. And then we've got to show that we pay our taxes, so they, just on some of their income things, but the rest of it goes into the Clinton Foundation where it hides. And they say, oh, yeah, we have one of the highest rates that the foundation pays of people, for the amount of money that we take in. It's like 90% of our stuff goes to the needy and to these things that they pay out, and there's less than 10% is kept by the foundation to administrate. Well, that's not true. It's about the other way around, and the Clinton Foundation has been proven that they probably are one of the lowest rates of giving to charities and so forth of any of the foundations that are out there. So it's really sad, but it's just like I heard a couple of guys talking the other day, and we kind of forget about this, that there was something like $100 million received in from a guy from Canada, and then he turned over the uranium things that he got for that $100 million over to the Russians. And that's just one of those pay-to-plays, and nobody's saying very much about it, but she gave away about half of our uranium reserves while she was the Secretary of State. And it's amazing that the guy that it was turned over to from Canada gave him $100 million donation to the Clinton Foundation years ago. And so all of it just leads back to if you pay them enough, you can play their game.
Well,
and we saw that quite in a little bit of a scandal with them selling out the Lincoln bedroom in the early days of the White House. That was just one of the small things that they have done since. Chelsea's involved in it. She has been involved in it. If you trace back to who she's married to, he's one of the people that the Clintons have a lot of history with, his parents and so forth, and so they're all just intertwined. And they're all guilty of pay to play and take the government for what you can and get away with whatever, just in the sense of money. I kind of look forward to seeing how all of the associations of these people start running away like rats off of a ship when they start talking about, this is getting a little more serious. Maybe we need to have some indictments here.
When you think about it, though, and I don't mean to beleaguer this point that was given to me, like I said, in a conversation back east, but when you think about Chelsea Clinton, and you think about Bill and Hillary, and she being the only child, Chelsea, and the vice chair of the Clinton Foundation, it would be hard for me to not understand and assume that if there were illegalities of money laundering or pay for play, that she couldn't possibly overlook that this was going on. She has to be a part of this.
Oh, she is. And like I said, I think she's just at the top. They're all involved in it. It's her husband, her husband's family, her family, and many, many others. In fact, that Cheryl Mills, who was one of Hillary's advisors, now all of a sudden is her attorney, and you can't have an attorney turn and testify against you. And they're doing everything they can to see if they can cover up and insulate away from any kind of, indictments and that type of thing. But it's going to come out, and I just hope that a lot of it doesn't come out so that Obama can, excuse all of it as he goes out of office.
Yeah. Let me ask you about one other personality involved in this mess, and it's a chaotic mess, and that is actually two other people, and the one I don't even want to care to comment about on my program because I think he's one of the biggest perverts that ever walked the face of the earth, and that's Huma Abedin and her husband, good heavens, Anthony Weiner, that wants to have his name changed to Carlos Danger. I mean, the absolute ridiculousness of their involvement and the server and the emails going through their electronic devices. This just stinks.
Well, it really does, and if you start looking at this from a perspective that some of us look at and say, well, what does Huma Abedin have to do with the Muslim Brotherhood and her connections there? And then, of course, Anthony Weiner, he is just horrible. I can't even talk about him without just getting the goosebumps and thinking he is such a creep. And yet, they're right up there with people who are going to be in the White House and being, exposed to some of the very most sensitive national security issues that there are.
Right.
And she has been involved with a lot of that as the State Department assistant. I can't in my right mind understand how they could let people like that in and have security clearances with the history and the associations that they have. And I've mentioned this before. When you get a security clearance, and I'm sure that there are many listening in the audience who have had to get security clearances from the federal government for different things, but when you do that, I mean, they go through with a fine-tooth comb and find out all your associations, where you've been, who in your family has been anywhere, any of your associations, where have any of them been? Have they been out of the country? Who do they associate with and all that stuff? And yet, she is part of the Muslim Brotherhood. Her family is part of it. And yet she was supposedly, I'm guessing she had a security clearance. Maybe she didn't, but I don't know how you could be the Secretary of State's assistant and not have a security clearance. But it all stinks to high heaven,
yeah.
And it just goes to prove that those folks don't think that there's anything wrong with them just pilfering and taking away every single thing that they can and leaving America at risk. And it's just like they said, there's a 99% chance that 5 foreign intelligence agencies hacked the Clintons' emails. And so every time you turn around, there's another big thing that they've exposed us to. Remember back in the days of Bill Clinton, the Chinese guy that he sold secrets to and everything? I mean, it's just money, 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 and we'll do anything for it.
You know, there were some, I think, strong words used this morning on a TV interview that I caught. Representative Mike McCall of Texas and with Homeland Security, he very forcefully, and I hope you saw and heard this morning, Rita, he very forcefully this morning said that what Hillary has done is treason to America. And when you say the words treason or traitor, those are very strong words, and he did not back up when pressed. He said, no, what she has done is treasonous to the United States. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think, if she was a Republican, they'd be saying it real heavily, and I thought it was kind of weird that I think it was Fox and Friends said, well, isn't that a little bit, stout, or, you're saying something that's a little bit harsh. Well, the thing of it is, Hillary has broken the Espionage Act, and isn't that part of treason as well? I mean,
right.
Look at all the things that she's done. Nobody wants to call it what it is, but it's really true. She has violated the Espionage Act in the things that she has violated because she has let secrets out. She's been vulnerable to people hacking into her emails and that type of stuff. And like I said, anybody else would be in jail. So for the news people and even Fox to say, well, that's a little harsh for you to say, I think he was well within his boundaries to say that is treasonous act.
I do too. There is another item that I've mentioned many times in the past, and I'd like you to elaborate on it this morning. The absolute misuse of the English language. When Hillary keeps being pressed about the emails and her server, she said, well, I made a mistake. Let me tell you something, Rita. Why can't these people that supposedly are elitists, supposedly they claim they are so well self-educated, how can they possibly misuse our language and say that what they did intentionally was a mistake? No, it was a choice, and they chose to do that.
Well, that's where you get to the place where you're parsing words, and it's just like your kids. If they, well, yeah, I made a mistake. I intentionally had my friends with me, and we were drinking and driving, and we had got in an accident. Was that a mistake? No, that wasn't a mistake. That was an intentional act, and this is a result of what you did. It's not a mistake. A mistake means that something accidentally happened and there was nobody that had control over it. And she has control. It's not a mistake. And she keeps saying, well, I just made a mistake, and I guess I wouldn't do it again if it happened, the next time. But, well, so just know that I didn't really mean it to be bad. I just made a mistake, like it was an accident.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people criticized me the last time I brought this up, and I'm sure I'll get calls again today, for the, like you said, parsing of words, but there are two different meanings. If you add 2 and 2 and you write 5 on a test paper, that is a mistake. But if you purposely add 2 and 2 and say that is 5, that is absolutely a choice.
Well, it is, and that's just what really bothers me about it is that, hers can be a mistake, but, somebody else doing something similar, no, it was your intent and you're going to jail. And I think that if the truth were known and as it was treated as what it is, that she would be on trial, and she's already under investigation in 5 different things that are pretty serious. There are investigations that are going on. Anybody else would have been bowing out long before now of the elections and saying, I guess I better lay low because they've kind of got a few things on me that I might not be able to recover from.
Absolutely.
That's the absolute truth.
Absolutely. I got to get a weather forecast in here. Stand by. Rita Ramsey with us. The weather brought to you this hour by my friends, Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs, including Curtis Pope, Todd Phillips, Rob Oaks, Mitch Goodwin, and Lyden Crane, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The very best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, payroll services. 2 locations to serve you, 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. Getting close to the end of the year. Work with the best. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. Here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for this beautiful Thursday, November 3rd, and we are looking at great weather as we move on closer to the weekend. High-pressure system's going to be sticking around for a while. Looks like sunny skies for today. We are expecting a high of 60, tonight low of 32. Now tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 62 with an overnight low of 32. Sunny and 60 for Saturday. Some clouds rolling in on Sunday, high of 58, and then back to mostly sunny skies and 60 for Monday. That is your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. Get a hold of them today. They can serve you. End of the year, taxation's coming up. You better get a hold of the best. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. Don't forget to our friend Fred Wood, running unopposed for State Representative District 27. Fred on the Health and Welfare Committee, Resources and Environment Committee, and he wants to continue serving you. And he wants everybody to get out and vote yes on HB HJR5. Don't forget Fred Wood, running unopposed, State Representative, District 27, paid for by Fred Wood for House Seat 27. And another gentleman that we want to urge you to go vote for, Steve Hartkin, State Representative, District 24B. Very strong Republican incumbent for re-election next Tuesday, November 8th, for the Idaho House of Representatives. Don't forget, a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, and also supports right to life and knows all about the water rights in Idaho. Don't forget, vote for Steve Hartkin, District 24B, State Representative, paid for by the Steve Hartkin Campaign Committee. Rita, here we are just a couple of days away, and the polls this morning, and I called quite a few people prior to going on the air this morning back in D.C. and New York. The polls basically, even with the margin of error, it is now a dead heat. What do you think, A, about the early voting, and a lot of people in 7 states want a do-over, and B, what kind of a turnout do you think we're going to get next Tuesday?
I can't ever gauge what the American people will do, because I would think that there would be a huge turnout, and I also don't agree that the polls would be even though they say, oh, you know, it's just a dead heat. There's for Hillary to be in the position that she's in is just absolutely crazy. And the other thing is that I wonder if there will be enough people with the Democrats that say, you know what, we're just not going to vote. Our candidates, she's marred. We don't want her anyway, and just not show up. So in that regard, it makes me wonder if it will be somewhat low through the Democrat ranks. But I would hope that the Republicans and a lot of the Democrats would go out and vote and see if we can't get something going. Trump is not my favorite candidate, but he is really the only other candidate besides the Democrat that we have choice in. And so I would hope that we would make a choice, and hopefully if Trump wins, that things will, progress to where we can make some good changes in this country. However, as progressive as he is and liberal, it kind of makes me worried, but we don't have any other choice. I did want to mention something about this HJR5 that you have mentioned and advertised to be sure and vote yes on. If the people out there aren't familiar with what this is, this basically is, are we going to let the governor make the laws, or are we going to let the legislators make the laws? And the voting yes means the legislators will be the ones that have the final say, not the governor come in and say, no, that's not what I want, and change it around. And so we would be best to have our local legislators making the laws, not a governor who thinks he wants to do something a specific way. It should be that the legislature make those decisions, and this is a amendment change to the Constitution. We voted on it before, and this is to make sure that amendment is solidified.
Yeah,
so I encourage people to go to the polls and vote for the local stuff, even if you're disenchanted by the president. But we need to make sure that we're voting things that really affect us here in Idaho and in our local communities.
You know, Rita, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because there are some misconceptions about this. But I'll guarantee you, if people want to see how it works on a larger scale, just look at the executive powers that Obama has gone and written in without Congress's approval. That's on a larger scale, but that's what could happen with a governor that wants things his way.
Well, it is, and you can always talk to your state legislators, the ones who make the laws, because they live right here in our communities, and we have a voice with them. But the governor is quite removed, and you can have him have some special interests going with somebody, and he could overturn something that the legislative branches have said, this is the way we're going to do it. And he goes, no, I can't, because AT&T is my friend, and I want to do this or that or the other, so I'm going to change it, and my say is the final say. You don't want to give that executive power to a governor. It needs to go through the legislative section, and then whatever they come up with is the way it's going to be.
Rita, now we will be talking next Thursday, 48 hours after the dust has settled in this election, and I hope things are something that we will be happy talking about. God bless you for your thoughts this morning. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Zeb. We'll see you.
You bet, Rita. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Rita Ramsey every Thursday right here, and I really do thank her for her time. You know, right now, I am hungry. I am so hungry. I am starving to death. And I know some great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Let me share with you. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Pumpkin shakes, marshmallow shakes, black raspberry shakes, chicken fried steak sandwiches. Oh, those delicious fries and the sauce. Famous Farmer Brown burgers. Oh, get in there today. The AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about we move on over to Taco Bandito? 2301 Overland in Burley. They've got a brand new pork burrito with beans, pork, rice, sour cream, and cheese. Delicious. Along with a pumpkin empanada, just like Granny used to make. You're going to love all the food, all the menu items at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, then there's Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Corn dogs and burritos only 99 cents after 3 p.m. You heard me right. And the soup is there. They got a different flavor Monday through Friday. Bread bowl soup. It is delicious. And pumpkin shakes, too. At Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert, 700 Overland in Burley. Well, let's move over to our friends at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Food made delicious. Buffalo burgers made with real buffalo, and soup. Oh, they've got delicious soups. And they've got all kinds of new desserts and fresh hand-cut fries, say it right, Zeb. And I'm telling you, the people are so nice. Menu is fantastic. You are really going to enjoy a dining experience at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. You stop in today. And last but not least, Pooters Pizza. I love saying that. Pooters Pizza at 725 Minidoka Avenue in Burley, right inside the Snake River Bowl. Oh, have they got delicious pizza. Oh, have they got great big, huge hand-pressed burgers and delicious oven-baked sandwiches. They'll deliver, too, within a 10-mile radius. You better give them a call, 679-7494. Pooters Pizza, 725 Minidoka Avenue in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. And I am. Cubs win, holy cow. Right now we're going to have this good word for Senator Mike Crapo, and then Wheels will take us up to news at CBS.
Whether it's personnel management or inventory or writing a menu, waiting on guests, customer service, all of that's a part of the program too. We do spend a lot of time cooking, but we also spend a lot of time on the other stuff, and that's important to me. I was out there most of my adult life. I spent in industry, and having employees with those skills is important, and it's becoming more and more difficult to find.
Let me ask you this, Bob. Are there, A, opportunities for employment, B, are there opportunities to make a living with that employment?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I just had my advisory committee meeting on Tuesday, and that was one of the things that the committee people talked about is the number of jobs available. Hospitality in general is a huge industry in Idaho, and it keeps growing every year. And it's not just flipping burgers for minimum wage, and even those jobs, as I was told, aren't paying minimum wage anymore. They've gone up, but the opportunities for supervisory experience, for management experience, for entrepreneurial experiences, they're huge. And I've always told my students that even if you just want to work your way through college, you can make more money doing this, and the skills that you are going to transfer to almost any industry.
Yeah.
Think about it. Where don't we have to solve problems or interact with people or all of those things? What I tell kids is it's kindergarten skills. It's all those things that we learned in kindergarten that we managed to forget.
That's really true, and I've got so many questions to ask you about your culinary arts program, but how do you address the cleanliness aspect, the hygiene aspects of cooking and serving food, restaurants? Now, you and I both know that if you take a little trip across the United States and you stop every so often to get breakfast, lunch, and or dinner, you are going to walk into places that are far, far below what they should be. I mean, the floors aren't swept and the people are kind of diskempt and they're not taking care of themselves and they kind of throw the food on a plate and take it to you. But then you'll go to another place and, oh my goodness, it's very clean, it sparkles, the people are friendly, and you can rest assured that it's a healthy environment in serving your food. Boy, I guess what I'm getting at, Bob, are the rules and regulations for cooking and running restaurants, etc., are they tough enough?
They're as tough as we want them to be. The FDA writes the food code, but they have no enforcement in terms of who does what. Enforcement is all done at a local level, and that's local health departments, state level, county level, and so whatever states and counties have decided that they want, that's what they get. The health inspectors are all, they're local people. The standards are there, certainly, but states are under no obligation to follow them. It looks a lot less uniform than I think it is. You do see some of those on the outside, but you never know what's going on in the kitchen. And so, the Restaurant Association has standards. They have training. One of the things that's happening in Idaho is that in all food establishments, at least one employee has to be what we call Serve Safe certified, and that is the industry standard for food safety. Which, in a moment of shameless self-promotion, I will say I am now certified to both teach the class and give the test to be Serve Safe Manager certified, which hopefully will help out some of the operators in our community, because I know that they are looking out there to get their people into these classes.
We were in.
Students too.
I've got to share this with you real quick, Bob, and we've got, like I said, I'm going to have you back real soon to discuss more of this. But we were in another state and at a rodeo a couple of years ago, and I may have mentioned this to you, at a well-known fast food restaurant, and it was late at night, and drove up to the window to get our order, and inside, believe it or not, the young people inside this establishment were literally having a food fight. I mean, I left our order laying right there and drove off. I will not ever subject myself to eating anything that might have been part of a food fight. But where is the management? Where are the people that are overseeing these operations and really teaching these people right and wrong?
Well, and that's a good question. I don't know that I can answer that for what goes on in another state. I will tell you this, though, and because one of my advisory members is from the Department of Labor, and, in our area, we are at 3% unemployment, which is, by economic standards, that's more than full employment. And so people are hard to find, particularly at quick service restaurants and restaurants in general, because they're some of the lower paying jobs. Now that's changing, but we have a lot of industry here that's paying a lot more in terms of wage, and so it's tough to find. Oftentimes it's teenagers. It's tough to find people, and one of the words that three words that came up that kind of all go together in terms of that is having confidence, having the competence, and then taking the responsibility.
Right.
And I loved hearing that, because it articulates really what I work hard to do with my students, because I don't want them to be the ones going out and having the food fight.
Absolutely.
And I know those things happen.
Absolutely.
And it's discomforting to think that, to wonder what's going on with your food. And I think that's why, I know the industry works real hard at food safety. States and health departments are doing their best. But, ultimately it comes down to you got to have trained people who are dedicated and really want to take that responsibility.
Let me ask you, I've got about 4 minutes left here, but when you are teaching the class, are you seeing more naturally girls get involved, or are you seeing an implementation of a lot of boys want to learn cooking? And talk about the numbers.
I don't really keep track much of numbers, but I see a lot of everybody. I really do. I have students who struggle, and I have straight A students. I have boys, girls. I have a lot of everybody, and it's great. I mean, there's a huge amount of diversity in my room, and that's fantastic. I think everybody's going to need to work, and I'm a firm believer in that. And I've told you this before, I'm here to make taxpayers. That's my bottom line. I want to see kids with skills go out and be productive in the workforce. And, cooking is a skill they can use, but other things like problem solving or communication or, learning to meet deadlines and read and follow instructions, which are things that we work at every day here, those are going to go everywhere they go. And you talk to any employer, that's what they're looking for. They're willing to teach the job.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I have in front of me something that really broke my heart as a teacher. I'm looking at a math test given by one of our local employers, and they used to use this as a screening. Now they use it as a placement to see how much work they do with kids. And I had already committed to bringing more math into my program this year. But when I see this, boy, I'm sure glad I did, because it's pretty basic.
Uh-huh.
People struggle with it, and I just hate to think that.
Give me a short answer on this question, and because I'm almost out of time, Bob, and I've got to get you back here real soon. But your class, the culinary arts class, is it a more expensive class to put on because of the actual needing the food to cook and learn how to bake and all that? I mean, where do you come up with the money for the expenses?
Well, students pay a fee. It's an elective, so for now we're able to collect a fee. We have some added cost funding that comes, ultimately I think it's federal vocational funds that come through the state. And the other part of the funding is we simply go out and earn it. We do some catering within the building. We do some catering within the district. I don't go in the community, but for example, just a couple weeks ago, we served the students and advisors who came for the FFA State Soils Competition, and they're gracious enough to have us do that lunch. And so we do make some money doing those things, and with all of that, we do get through the year, and, anything that's left over goes back into the program to upgrade equipment or whatever we need that's going to improve the experience for the students.
Bob, I really would like to continue this further, but I got another segment coming up in just a moment. But I want to say thank you, and I really mean this, to Bob Withrow, the culinary arts teacher at Burley High School. You got to promise me to come back soon, my friend. I really enjoyed having you on the air.
Anytime you like. You just let me know.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
very interesting man, Bob Withrow, and what a program. Teaching a lot of respect, responsibility in the culinary arts department at Burley High School. Very well done. Okay, we got to pay some bills here real quick. Don't forget, let me see, who am I talking about right here? Yes, I want to remind you that Steve Hartkin, running for State Representative District 24B. Steve Hartkin, your strong Republican incumbent for re-election next Tuesday, November 8th, to the Idaho House of Representatives. Wants to continue serving Idaho with a very high conservative rating on a wide range of issues. Please remember, when you go to the polls next Tuesday, vote for Steve Hartkin, State Representative District 24B, paid for by the Steve Hartkin Campaign Committee. And then also a gentleman right here in our area running for Minidoka County Commissioner District 2, Kent McClellan. Don't forget, Kent is a native of Minidoka County, local businessman, and he wants your vote for Minidoka County Commissioner District 2. A gentleman that wants to have everybody work together for the good of Minidoka County. He has been on the Mini-Cassia Economic Development Commission and the Mini-Cassia Transportation Committee. Don't forget, next Tuesday, vote for Kent McClellan, Minidoka County Commissioner District 2, paid for by the committee to re-elect Kent McClellan, Rick Stimpson Jr., Treasurer. Well, look who we've got on the phone right now, the lovely Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens. How are you?
I'm doing great. Zeb, how are you doing?
Well, for heaven's sakes, I forgot what your lovely, friendly voice sounded like. How you been?
Hey, I've been doing great. It's been an excellent year this year. We've had a phenomenal year, and hoping for the same for next year. Anyhow, I've sure got a lot of stuff ordered and bought for next year, so let's hope it's a good year.
Well, you know, Vicki, this time of the year, we've been blessed again. Nice day today. Looks like for the rest of the weekend it's going to be very nice. What, if anything, do we need to be doing with our lawns and our flower beds and all that kind of stuff?
Well, that's a good question, because there's a lot of things that we can do in the fall that helps us through the spring, you know, if we happen to have a wet spring so you don't get thrown behind. Getting your gardens ready. Clean your gardens out. Get all of the produce out. Get everything out of there. It's a good time to put your compost on your garden and till it in. Then you're ready for next spring. If we have a wet spring, you're not having to wait to get all your tilling done. Then all you got to do is lightly till again, and you're ready to plant. You know, and that's a good thing. Saves a little work in the spring when things get hectic. We've had a lot of fungus and that on trees and on roses and everything. This is a good time to do a final fungicide on trees, roses, shrubs, that kind of thing. Anything that you had, any like fruit trees that you had problems with, hit them a couple times with a good fungicide right now. Kill that stuff off, because it will live on the trees and live over the winter.
Oh, really?
And then as soon as it warms up in the spring, boom, there it is again. So make it go away this fall so it doesn't have that chance to be stronger on you next spring.
Holy cow, it sounds like people can't really get lazy this time of the year. It sounds like they've got a lot of preventive medicine, if you will, for their gardens, their trees, and everything else.
Well, they do, and just remember, if you had bulbs planted, if you planted them in the spring, you have to dig them in the fall. Dahlias, glads, cannas, those kind of things. Don't let them freeze in the ground or you'll lose them. Calla lilies, those kind of things. Dig them, dry them good, and store them in a cool, dark, dry place. And then they're ready for next year again. You know, but just don't leave them in the ground, because you won't have anything in the spring. Yeah, they'll just freeze completely down. Those are the kind of bulbs you have to dig out. This is the time to plant your tulips and daffodils. If you're wanting those for spring flowers, they have to be planted in the fall. So
really?
Tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, that type of thing, your real early spring flowers, this is the time to get those in the ground. And whenever you're planting bulbs, always use your bone meal.
Oh, really? Well, holy...
It's a natural phosphate.
Okay. Now,
a good growth.
One other question I got to get asked to you, because I'm almost out of time, but what about lawns? Now, I was talking to a person not too long ago that said, don't rake those leaves. If you do anything, go with your lawnmower blade, chop them up, because they'll be really good mulch for your lawn. What should we do, rake the lawn or not?
Well, you can use a mulch, but, I mean, sometimes if you get it too thick, you will get some mold going in your lawn also.
Ooh.
So I'm not a fond one for leaving leaves lay on the lawn. To me, they're decaying. They're going to take your nitrogen out of the ground. Your lawn's not going to me, I would rather see a nice clean lawn going into the winter. Don't cut it too short. Leave it a couple of inches long, 2 to 2.5 inches. But a lot of people like the mulching. If you're going to mulch, then use a little extra nitrogen fertilizer on it to break that down and get it to turn into fertilizer for you.
Okay. Now, Vicki, if they have questions, are you open during the winter, or how can they get a hold of you?
I'm not there on a daily basis, but on my answering machine and on the door, there will be my cell phone number. I'm in and out of there pretty much every day. If you need something, just call me, make an appointment, and I will make sure we get together and get what you need. And if you have any questions, just call. I'll take, we'll solve the problem if we can.
I'll tell you what, I love this lady. She has been so kind to us over the years. The lovely Miss Vicki at Vicky's Country Gardens over in Paul. And I want to wish you a great Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Enjoy yourself.
Well, thanks, Zeb, and the same to you and all the listeners out there. I hope we have a real safe holiday season and a great new year. That's what we need to have. Hopefully we'll get through this election and we'll get her all taken care of.
All right, Vicki, God bless you. Don't be a stranger. Give us a call.
I'll do that, Zeb.
Thank you much. Thanks. God bless. Thank you so much. Wonderful lady right there. Absolutely a person I enjoy working with over the many, many years on this program. Vicki at Vicky's Country Gardens. By the way, too, don't forget Kelly Anthon, State Senator for District 27, running unopposed, but he wants your vote. Conservative, representing this area and serving all of us. He has served as Burley City Attorney and Rupert City Attorney and has the unique ability to just help people. Don't forget he wants you to vote yes on HJR5 next Tuesday. Kelly Anthon gets the job done for you. Paid for by the committee to elect Kelly Anthon, Idaho State Senate. Co-chairs Denton Darrington and Dean Cameron with Elaine Stevenson, secretary. Right now we're going to send it over to our main studios. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you much, and we are on the home stretch. Last 30 minutes of our program this morning, and I really appreciate this man coming back on my program a couple of times, as a matter of fact. A 30-year veteran of the financial industry, and he knows what's going on. Let's talk now to Steve Beeman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am very well, thank you, and thank you for having me on.
Steve, we are 4 days away, 4 long days away from the election. Give me kind of a general consensus of what your feelings are about this election, and what do you think's going to happen?
Well, I'm a big believer that markets are always right, and what you're seeing in the market today is a sell-off because I think the markets are leaning toward a Trump victory.
Now, when you say that a sell-off, they're leaning towards a Trump victory, what does that mean to Joe average citizen that has something in the stock market or he's worried about his finances? How does this play out?
Well, near term, the markets are concerned about Trump because they're not sure exactly what he will or will not do. I think longer term, they're optimistic that he will very carefully, cut taxes, cut regulation, but not put in the trade policies he's talked about, which could be demonstrably bad for the economy. And I think that's what's got the market skittish. We don't want to see a global trade war.
Now, what about the differences, if you will, between Hillary, her plans, her wants and wannabes for this country versus Trump? I mean, where do you see this thing heading and leaning as far as the stock market and Wall Street is concerned?
Well, frankly, I think what you'll see is right after the election, the market will make an adjustment based on which candidate it thinks wins. And then post that, you'll see it set back to normalcy. And so it'll be looking much more at Fed policy and those types of things rather than worrying too much about who's, going to do what politically. I think they'll be concerned about policy. We have a Fed meeting in December that likely will raise interest rates, and that's going to become the biggest concern of the market.
So you basically, Steve, and pardon my naivete on these subjects, but we're going to have approximately a 3-month lull from the election all the way till the inauguration. What happens during that time? Is it kind of a holocaust with the markets? I mean, what are they going to do?
Well, I don't think it'll be that bad. I think you could see a couple of percentage points shaved off, but they'll mostly be looking at what the Fed's going to do, and that's the bigger risk. If the Fed does enter an interest rate rising situation, then you'll see the markets react very negatively to that.
Now, when you say that, Steve, I've got to insert a question here. If Hillary is elected, and you know up front that I am not at any way, shape, or form supportive of her, as a matter of fact, I hope she goes down in defeat, but if she's elected, and with all the scandals and the email situation and the pay for play with the Clinton Foundation, that's got to have a negative effect on our economy, doesn't it?
Well, it will. In fact, the House of Representatives has already talked about beginning impeachment proceedings based on all this. So, yeah, that instability as well will play into this as we approach the year's end. So right now, I think you've got an overall financial picture for Americans that is very volatile, a little bit unstable, and they need to just batten down the hatches and make sure that if they're in the markets, they've hedged their risk a little bit so they don't get hurt should it really take a precipitous hit.
Now, you said something that I want you to elaborate on. You're the expert, and I really trust you. Batten down the hatches. Okay, well said, but what does that mean to me, the average taxpayer? I mean, where do I put my money? Where's it safe? Where do I go with it?
Well, right now, a good place to be probably is in cash. Just let the other people play this game. Let everybody else fight this fight, but you stay on the sidelines because you could see a big up or down swing here, and I don't think anybody really knows which that's going to be.
Holy smokes. So it's just kind of a sit and watch and wait. And I think an obvious question people like myself or others would ask is, who do you trust for information? Where do they go?
Well, that's a good question. If they have an advisor, make sure they're a fiduciary advisor as opposed to just a normal commission-based advisor. I think if they really need help, they can always go to safefinancial.org, not to promote the society, but it is a not-for-profit out to help people. So there's some, real help potentially there for folks. Generally, it's a tough one, and I think we're going to see this volatility continue. I don't see any way really around it.
Okay, now, here's the situation. I'm an old man, Mr. Beeman. I am over the hill by many standards, and I've got to protect my money. I'm sick and tired of the government going into and leeching off Social Security and creating gimme programs to people that have never contributed. I mean, the seniors in this country are scared. I'm speaking for them because they don't know what their situation is going to be a year from now. How would you relate to senior citizens in this land?
Well, I would say to people that are over, let's say, 50 to 55, that the reality is you're going to continue getting benefits as promised under Social Security. There's virtually no one out there who's saying we should adjust benefits for that age group. All of the proposed adjustments go to people under 50. Now, with that said, I do think you could see cost of living increases perhaps go up a little bit. The Federal Reserve in its meeting yesterday talked about inflation and more hitting the targets that they hope to see. So we may see a little bit of adjustment there to the COLAs for Social Security folks. But I think generally they need not panic about any of this. There's just not that much out there that's going to hit them one way or the other.
Yeah, but all of us as citizens of this great country should really be concerned about our debt. I've preached about this on my program for a long time, Steve, and you're the expert. I mean, we're looking at $20 trillion in debt. And during the political hack season of everybody standing at the podium and saying, well, I'll do this and I'll do that, they never did really address how they're going to lessen our debt. How concerned are you about that $20 trillion in debt?
I am increasingly concerned because if we see a Hillary Clinton presidency, you can rest assured that we'll go steady state on a path to see that debt go up to $24 trillion by the end of her first term. And again, with an economy that's growing at 2% a year, that would put our economy at, let's say, $20 trillion. So we're increasing that spread between the size of our debt and the size of our economy. And that is unquestionably a concern of all of us. I think in addition to that, we've got a situation where our deficits continue to grow because of the Obamacare program. We're now seeing the supplements go to the people paying those premiums and the help. That's causing our deficits to rise once again. So on both fronts, it is a very real concern. And we've got countries like China, which is now the largest economy in the world. They've got, $800 billion in total debt versus our $19-20 trillion. That is a concern. And so there are, again, very, very real concerns.
Yeah, but Steve, come on, you're the expert. Give me some insight. How in the world can a country that now is at the edge of the cliff at $20 trillion in debt, how can you pay back even considering $24 trillion in debt? What steps have to be taken to start reducing that debt?
Well, the only way you can do it is to grow your economy and cut your expenditures. We have to cut back on the promised entitlements, and some of the changes aren't that difficult. If we look at Social Security, for example, we very easily could say to folks, hey, we're going to move, for those under 50 years old, we're going to move your full benefits to 72. That's not an egregious change. It's just recognizing we live a lot longer today. So that's one. Number two, I think we have to get back to a situation where we quit promising so many expenditures to people because we're just watching us bleed ourselves to death. And so we can get out of it, but we're going to have to make hard choices on, entitlement spending and all of the rest, because if you look at the federal budget, 50% plus is legislated entitlement spending plus interest rates.
Yeah, and there's one other item and a little piece of the pie that you haven't talked about, and I want you to, and that's the devastating economical effects that we are seeing right now create a bigger cancer for our country, and that's called Obamacare.
Yeah, and that is blowing up as we speak. People around the country are looking at the effect on their premiums, which are rising rapidly. They're looking at their deductibles that are rising rapidly. And they're saying to themselves, Lord, I'm already tight cash-wise. How in the world am I supposed to afford this?
Yeah.
And that will hit the economy in 2017. There's absolutely no question about it. I think Trump will have a lot of political momentum behind him to throw it out. Hillary has said she just wants to double down on it.
Yeah. We have a caller with a question quickly. Steve, go ahead, caller. You're on the air, please.
Zeb, it's Earl. I would like to hear him talk about Chinese goods that are coming in here that are throwing a crowbar into my farming operation because of the low quality of their goods being imported in here. And I'll sit back and listen.
All right, sir. Go ahead, Steve, if you would, please.
Well, I think that's a really good question. I mean, we've got a huge trading partner with China, and that's a good and bad thing. The problem is we have so skewed the rules that we're no longer on a fair level with China. And that's one of the Trump things that he's gone after in a big way, is to say we need to make those rules fair. With regard to quality, it's not really an issue if we have an active capital and business market in the U.S., because you could choose to not go to Chinese goods if you wanted. The problem is we've shipped so much of our manufacturing overseas that we no longer have the manufacturing base here in the U.S. to provide consumers with the high-quality American goods that they need. So I think with respect to that gentleman and his issue, we're not going to see a change to it anytime soon, and the ultimate long-term solution to that quality issue, frankly, is going to come out of technology.
One other issue that I'm going to take time for to ask you about, Steve, and it's an issue that I absolutely am going to remain adamant that could be an economic killer for all of us and the rest of the world, is energy. And I'm going to come out and blatantly say that if Hillary implies that she's going to go ahead with a green energy program of another 500 million solar panels and more of the wind turbines, etc., we are going to see an energy industry that's going to break the back of the American consumer.
I think you're very right on that. My biggest, anger at this whole administration lately has been how they've treated our coal producers in the coal country. We need that coal. We need the energy coming from it. We are capable of being self-sufficient if they just take the gloves off. We can't keep exporting our currencies over to these dictators in the Middle East. That's not working for anybody. And so I think we need a policy, and that's where Trump could come in and do some really good things. If Trump comes in and says, listen, I'm going to cut regulation on our energy businesses, I'm going to open up federal lands for fracking, we could be energy independent very quickly, and that's a huge boom for the American economy structurally and economically.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question. I'm running out of time. Caller, go ahead, please.
Hey, Zeb, I have a different take on how to fix the economy.
Well, real fast, please.
The Federal Reserve, as well as the IMF, have been set up all around the world to rob countries and to put them into huge debt. And I'll just be honest, as an American citizen, that debt is not my debt. I am not flying around in a Learjet. I am not driving around in very expensive cars. This debt is not the American people's debt. And rather than treat the symptom, we need to treat the actual cause, which is getting rid of those two. And until we do that, we're not ever going to fix it.
Okay, good. I'm going to have Steve make a comment, and then I've got to wrap it up. Steve, go ahead. Please reply.
Well, I would say I have a slightly different take on that. I do not blame the Federal Reserve for the debt of the United States. The Federal Reserve's not the one borrowing the money. It's the government of the United States borrowing the money. And to be straight honest about it, if we look at total debt, consumers in the United States borrow voluntarily more money than any of them. So I don't think we have to address the problems factually, and I don't think the Fed is the cause of our problems. You can argue that we should be on a gold standard and get rid of the fractional reserve system, but net, I think that just contracts the economy for everybody.
You know, Steve, you're always welcome on this program, and after the election takes place, I'm going to have you come back. And, of course, this gentleman, a 30-year veteran of the financial industry, Steve Beeman. God bless you, man. Thanks for the program this morning.
Well, it's my honor to be on with you, and Godspeed to you and your listeners, my friend.
All right, take care. Thank you very much. Very knowledgeable and very easy to understand individual, Steve Beeman, and he's the chairman of the Society to Advance Financial Education in America. There you go. Holy smokes, look at him, late again. Ay. Cubs win. Holy cow. I had to get that in one more time. Don't forget the weather forecast right now this hour, brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Your locally owned custom meat processor for over 20 years. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at Scarrows Meats. It is delicious. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for this beautiful Thursday, November 3rd, and we are looking at great weather as we move on closer to the weekend. High-pressure system's going to be sticking around for a while. Looks like sunny skies for today. We are expecting a high of 60, tonight low of 32. Now tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 62 with an overnight low of 32. Sunny and 60 for Saturday. Some clouds rolling in on Sunday, high of 58, and then back to mostly sunny skies and 60 for Monday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Scarrows Meats bringing us the weather this hour on Zeb at the Ranch, 331 North Road, Jerome. Thank you so much. 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. I've got time for a couple of calls. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And what else is going on this weekend? I don't have anything else right here in front of me. I hope you get out and enjoy a great weekend. According to what Gina has said on our weather forecast, it should be absolutely beautiful out there with highs up into the low 60s, sunny skies, man, a perfect fall weekend right here in the Magic Valley. So get out and enjoy. Next week, I want to urge you to go vote. I don't want excuses. Oh, the cat died, had to bury it. Oh, my car wouldn't start, so I couldn't get a ride. Oh, the soap opera had a real vital part of the story. I couldn't miss it. Don't give me that. Get out and vote next Tuesday, November 8th. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, where you been? You're late, you're tardy, and I want $5.
Okay, the check's in the mail.
Yeah, I know I got one already.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't know if you mentioned it this morning, but did you know the Cubs won?
You're being sarcastic. I've said it every 30 seconds, I think.
I know it. I watched it to the end of the ninth, and then that rain delay, my eyeballs just slammed shut. I couldn't stay awake any longer.
I absolutely took the necessary precautions not to go to sleep. I had a delicious chili supper.
Oh, I feel for your lovely bride.
No, I'm telling you, I was so excited last night, Doug. This has never happened in my life. I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen in my life.
It was a fantastic series.
It was.
And the last game where they were ahead, and then chip away, and then they tied it up. I thought, oh, no, and then they bring in the closer, and I'm going, oh, no. Yeah, it was a great series.
Oh, you know, and
hang their head.
I want to go back and revert to something I said in the first hour. Of all the games that are played for championships, I really was impressed with the sportsmanship and the camaraderie between the two teams. They played and went for the jugular, but yet they were very sportsmanship-oriented.
They were. That one out on second base,
yep,
where the guy put his hand down and helped him up.
Yep.
When they had a break, the runner and the first baseman or second baseman, the guys would be standing there just talking, and
yeah,
you know, it was like you said. Neither one of them should hang their head. The Indians were fantastic.
And
nothing to be ashamed of.
And you know, it did something else too, Doug, and in a very subtle fashion. The the viewership of that game last night, I think it was well over 40 million households. And look at the differences in popularity and acceptance. Baseball for years has been at the bottom of the totem pole. People say, "No, that game is boring. I don't want to sit and watch it." People were glued to the series. People absolutely loved it. In comparison to where NFL football is going, there's a big difference.
There is. And every one of them stood for the national anthem.
Amen.
I praise the team. I praise the coaches and the gentlemen playing. And congratulations, Cubs. And Indians, you'll be back next year. You got a good team.
Doug, thank you. And there was one other thing I wanted to mention, that on both sides of the field, the Indians and the Cubs, there wasn't not one person that wouldn't be good for our younger ball players to emulate and imitate, because they did an outstanding job.
Exactly. And did you see in the stands where the Indian fans were sitting next to the Cub fans?
Yep.
Each had their jerseys on, and everybody was getting along.
Absolutely. They were still being partisan to their team, but getting along with each other.
Exactly. They were Americans, and that's what America should be.
God bless you, man. Good to hear from you, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, sir. Hey, give me a call this weekend.
I'll try to. Thank you. If I forget, give me a holler.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There you go. Thanks, Doug.
God bless.
All righty. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I am looking at a good, very interesting brochure from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers that talks about the tires for the dry conditions and the rainy conditions and the snowy conditions and the, icy conditions. And it talks about how to drive in winter conditions. And it talks about your tire chains. And it talks about your batteries. Hey! These people really care, and they've got all the products, your tires, your batteries, front-end alignments, brake service, everything right there to serve you. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. 7 locations, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I want to give a personal note here to a lot of people that are dear friends and sent me so many kind emails and letters and phone calls, and you just make this program so worthwhile for me and my wife. Thank you for being so kind, and we're going to put it back in the box, and we're going to be back here next Monday at 8:06. Ride the horse for 3 hours on Zeb at the Ranch. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless. Here's this good word for Senator Mike Crapo, and then Wheels will take us up to CBS News. See you Monday.